Hey everybody, welcome back to another Universus Studios video, and today we are joined by a very special guest, and I would like to consider him a friend of mine. Christopher Bromley, thank you so much for joining us. How are you
Let's go,
doing
guys.
during the pandemic?
I'm doing a fat lot of nothing, man, because I am a musician.
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah,
I get it.
hard to perform when there is nobody in the audience, you know?
Fair enough. But you have been making a lot of Universus content. I think a lot of people have really kind of been showing their support of it. I know I've been checking it out. I know JJ has. You're streaming every time you're playing on the like tabletop simulators. You've even started like I know you had Mark on for just even like the interview series that you kind of been creating, which is really cool because I definitely wanted to start making content when this pandemic and quarantine thing happened, and then I didn't get any internet, so so I'm glad that you like stepped up, and obviously we have the other content creators. And I'm really glad that you're able to join us for hours. So today I think we're going to be talking about Christopher. You actually brought this up yourself. We're going to be talking about Noob Saibot specifically and the implications and maybe repercussions that he's going to create basically once he comes out. Obviously, right now we don't have any tournaments that are structured coming out, except for I know we're supposed to be doing some online tournaments coming out as far into the future as we can until we start getting some physical ones. And as things start to reopen, even then we might still have some implications. But regardless, the Street or the Mortal Kombat DLC coming out with Noob Saibot, which is a whole nother topic on like a character stacker being in a DLC thing. But we're specifically talking about Noob Saibot and how what he's going to do to the meta essentially. So we can kind of kick off to what we were talking about before. Uh, what is the Noob Saibot problem specifically? What is he going to create as a problem in the environment?
Well, like I was saying, I think that people have been complaining about it in the abstract, right? Like the obvious things are that it shares symbols with a bunch of unblockables, like a
Yeah,
bunch.
yeah.
If you go into those symbols and you'll type unblockable, you'll get like the easy stuff like Vengeance of the Fallen Angel. You'll get the ground pound Akuma's Raging Demon, which is really funny
Oh,
because
right,
it's
that's right.
12 damage. I one shotted a
That's the
Shiva.
that's the best meme.
I actually one shotted a Shiva with that card, and three noobs. But uh, you have that, but you also have stupid shit like, can I say shit?
Yes,
I
you're
just
good.
said shit again.
Once we're a minute into the
Okay.
video, YouTube doesn't demonetize us, so we're good. We're good.
Okay. So you also have Black Magic Hex Curse, which is funny when you're playing into a noob.
Oh yeah.
um, uh, Jagged Barrage technically. Um, but I think it's like some people are gonna be like, they didn't even think about this. No, of course they did. Like Jason looked at all these cards and was like, this is gonna be sick. People are just gonna sit around waiting to blammo somebody, you know?
I
And
don't I
and
don't I don't disagree. I think it is sick. I think the idea and
yeah.
this isn't new territory for them. It's not like obviously the point is that it's plus X damage, plus X or minus X damage, and like the minus X is obviously for I'm a character stacker that feels good when you block with your own character card because like that's the perk of the plus zero mod. You see this in characters like Gemini Man in the past. You see characters like Suzaku. Like they've had this idea of blocking with your character cards having a benefit to it, and Noob Saibot has a huge one that says your next attack is very bad. Um, the fact that it also has the offensive ability makes it to where it's not like or the offensive ability makes it to where well here's the purpose of playing the character stacker, right? Like here's the purpose of playing a bunch of these in your deck, and you want to synergize it with your starting characters so you can do all these other things. So like this is a new territory. I agree with you 100%. Jasco definitely thought about this, and I agree. I think it is going to be sick. But then you put it into the actual field, and you're right. Like you find these things like Vengeance of the Falling Angel, which we already know exists, and it has 7 base damage, or 8 base damage. I can't remember.
Six.
Six base damage. So then it's 12 if you do this, and then we also kind of enter the realm as well that I was talking about. We already have effects in the game that exists when you don't block things. Bad stuff happens to you, um, and it becomes this realm of this archetype gets this huge push because you're essentially doing twice as much damage as you were doing in the past. And the question then is that okay? When there's very few things to interact with it. Obviously, Vengeance is like Spike first enhance. Obviously, it's an enhance. You can revoke it. You can do attack enhance cancellations. Obviously, everything in this game has an answer to it.
Mhm.
But it becomes to the fact where if you don't see that answer so early into the game, or I believe what Mark was saying, or JJ, you both were saying beforehand, it seems very scary to play any seven-hander against this deck mentality, right? Because although they have such low vitality, the seven-handers are also the more capable characters to find those answers early on in the game. So where is this balance and counterplay for it?
Yeah, I've been playing Raphael a lot just because I really like the order loop with the Sungmina Ultra, but I got destroyed. It was like one vengeance for my entire life total on turn 2 or 3. He builds 5 turn 1, plays a noob into the vengeance, responds a bang, built a hunt turn 1, that's 17. I have 19 health total.
Right. And
If he built
the prop man, he commits the flipped hunt for spiders.
yeah,
yeah,
for the Cervantes.
I think there's some irony. There's some irony that Spike is the big offender, even now, off of the death symbol, which Noob doesn't have death, right? He has life, order, void.
Yep.
My version of the deck is under death.
Yeah, but I think that's the best one, right? Like that's the one that immediately comes to mind is that you're just taking all the death stuff that says when you don't block.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's not just 12 damage, right? Like you get bang, you get showtime if you're being cheeky, you get shell of a proud man when you don't block, you get hunt for spiders when you don't block.
Yep.
It's compounds so easily.
Only Petrol isn't rotating.
It was one of those
If
things.
only Petra wasn't.
Yeah, if Petra was rotating. Oh my goodness. But that was the thing is, that's just with one noob. And
Right,
what we were talking about before, and what Mark brought up is that it's not even so much that it's like here's the one noob, but the problem is that you also have other character card support with characters like Ermac and Fusion of Souls, where first form we check a 6 and now we're an 8-hander in Spike.
Every time I played against Jake, if we got to like turn 4, I had 3 noobs in hand.
Yep.
Just because of how the deck went, like turn 2 and 3, I would just search for him. If I didn't need him to block or I draw into other ones, I'd have 2 or 3, and I could didn't matter what his life total was. Like if he didn't have revoke or overly dramatic or some sort of answer to the character or the enhance, it just full send, kill a 7-hander.
And it very much, I don't know how much Spike 1 you played against as well, even just at the beginning of Cowboy Bebop meta, but even back then Spike 1 wasn't a character where it was like I'm going to blow you out in one turn. It's I'm going to whittle you away little by little, and this deck still does that. Turn 2, yep. I'll throw one cuz the deck's got 4 vengeance in it. I'll play one vengeance and I'll just send it for 6. But if you're a 26 life 6 hand size character, like I've now whittled you to 20 vitality, and now you're in kill range with all the extra stuff, or with 2 Noob Sabots and an extra card, right? So it's like you're constantly on full alert. Like you hit this threshold of your vitality where you're like you don't get to before, and every time you play UFS, your vitality becomes a resource that you use, just like your hand size and the foundations you build. It becomes a resource. It's not a resource. It's actually just a gauge, and it whittles and whittles slowly if you at any point make a mistake in the game. Whether you have the wrong block, whether you didn't draw enough mid blocks, whether you
chose to interact with the noob.
Yeah, exactly. So the fact that what we were talking about with Fusion of Souls, you can block on your opponent's turn, make them feel real bad for attacking you again, and then immediately on the next turn, hey, the card I just used for a defensive piece, here's an offensive piece, or a secondary defensive piece, and for every single one that hits
you can do that with any death character that has another symbol with noob. If you have any symbol with noob, and you have play any symbol on Ermac, you can play that. That combo exists.
It's also a 3-diff.
It's a 3-diff.
The funniest part is one of the best answers to off-symbling cards, Single Barrel, is really bad against this.
Yep.
The fact that
you don't want to card pool, you just lose.
And you don't get punished. They're like, I'm going to shove that in your card pool. You're like, okay.
And so beforehand we were kind of talking about like, okay, well, what is the solution here? Does Noob get fixed before he comes out, or is there a functional errata that happens beforehand, or an emergency errata?
I feel like he should. Like 100%.
This being said, like I love busted shit. Everyone knows I love busted shit. It's my favorite. But he should probably say noob response. It should probably be character specific response. Would be the easiest fix.
Now, if it were my company, I would do that a month after everybody buys those packs.
Yikes!
Just saying.
Well,
saying
of
that they're gonna do
course.
that. It's
You
what
have to
I
get
would
4
do.
of them. You have to get 4 of
Get
them
a
for those
4.
4 noobs. So
These are
you're
hard
making some
times.
money off of it.
These are hard times. Support Jasco, buy your 4, and then it'll get errata. That's what it is.
Buy your 4, go to 1 PTC with it. It's out of here.
It's out of there, dude. Yeah.
At the same time, too, I obviously they don't, as of right now, obviously they don't feel that needs to happen, and I think there is a big split in this on whether it does need to happen or not, because like we said, there are answers to it, and eventually, and it's really weird because every time we see all this busted crap come out for these new cards or new sets and stuff like that, it's always the extremes. And I do kind of want to talk about this specifically because in a vacuum, people are building these decks, and the environment and the amount of people playtesting against this sort of deck, those numbers aren't there yet. And so I think there is a world where we see if this becomes a very relevant deck, we're going to see crazy cards from sets way in the past that have a specific answer to something like this, and people are going to play it. Everyone's going to be playing fatalities again just to snipe out Noob Saibot, and like the death deck doesn't have a real answer to that response. Like I think there's a lot of things where in a real competitive environment there is very real answers to this, and you can easily figure them out and you can deal with them all. And so
it's gonna be the same thing as like when Kurobaro came out. Like when he first came out, he was like a nightmare to think about, and he was like, everyone thought he was gonna be like this gatekeeper that was gonna keep all these decks at bay. And then like we slowly realized competitively there was just a lot of answers to him, and he became a lot less scary real quickly.
Yeah, everyone just put 4 overly dramatics in their decks. It happened to be everyone was playing those symbols, and then he just was bad.
Hey,
I think it'll be the same thing.
Yeah, he did get you in top 16.
He kept the shit out of me. Turns out ailurophobia real bad in Kuwabara.
Hey, you just got to hit him with 20 of them.
Oh my
15 of
god! At the end of the game, I cycled myself out because he couldn't hit me. I couldn't hit him. I had 7 attacks. I sculpted for 7 attacks. I looked at his health. I looked at the board states, and I was like, I can do 8 damage to him because he's gonna wall Goro me 4 times.
Oh.
And so I was like, all right, I played an attack, and then I ominous prophesied myself and milled myself to death because I was like, let's go to game 2. You know, like, but. I think the adjustments are pretty obvious, right? Like you mentioned, overly dramatic is crazy into the card, right? If you're playing noob, you got to have some serious response hate. There's also characters like Lilith who are very good into it because you're putting all those eggs in that single attack basket, and she's just like, no, I'll hold the mid block and respond and seal your vengeance. And then like Janet, I think has already been seeing a sort of resurgence because she's so good at the.
She's the best one at beating it.
And she's so nuts into it, and she's one of the few viable like. Not like cheeky users of the vengeance raging demon. Yeah, raging raging demon with her is actually viable because Voy, you have all the things that discard their momentum, stuff that nobody plays, right? Like the what's the oh my goodness, the Ken card that it's a 3 diff that becomes a 4 diff in desperation, has no
in Lord Raptor's clutches.
They just gain momentum, you gain a momentum.
You get a momentum, right? So you play fatality, you use that card, you discard momentum, suddenly you have your 2 momentum that you need for your ground pound. So that's that. I think I'm going to play that this week because Legendary Wolf Games online tournament is allowing noob, and I know everybody's been playing noob, and I've been having fun like testing that deck out. Since it's obviously going to get errated, I'll get my kicks in this one tournament.
I mean, do it. I think the other part of it. I think the other part of it too is the more and more people that participate in these online tournaments, we're essentially playtesting for Jasco in this time where we don't have any meta environments, and I think it's very good. I think it's a very good thing. More people are going to get their hands on it. More people are going to see what it's like to sit across from it, and they're either going to structure around it or they're going to discover that it's a problem. And that's exactly what the meta environment does, except for right now nobody's traveling. So I think it works out, like it really does. And more people like you, or all the people that are potentially going to play Noob Saibot in some sort of crazy form, I think is going to be the reason that that happens.
You know what I just thought about?
Mhm.
I was thinking about one of the best answers you could have is fueling up, but fueling up
Non-character.
doesn't.
It says
doesn't stop
non-character.
it. It's a character ability.
It is character ability. Wah, wah.
Yeah, I Deliverance is crazy for it. I gave my friend my Raptor list that I like a lot. I think it's probably my favorite deck, not including noob stuff, because Downward Spiral and Raptors.
So you're
It
under
gets him
death.
to reaching.
You're under death then, right?
He's on death.
And
So
are
I
you
told him to
playing?
put one Deliverance main and put 3 in the side. Like and I tested my Spike deck that uses noobs. I tested my Janet deck that uses noobs. I tested this Whistle deck that Nicholas Reagan gave me into it, and he just smacked me because he was ready every single time, and he had the reach to kill pretty much anything. Raptor in general is very good into it because of the show times and Deliverance, right? Like we had this great turn where he had a showtime and 2 of the DLC card that destroys itself to cancel your destruction of death. It's not surprise. It's matter. Name doesn't matter. But I went in. I had the death blow that I need. I went noob into the ground pound, and he responded showtime. I Tagurud it. He responded with his 1 diff. I Tagurud it. He responded with his 1 diff. I Tagurud it. And then he responded Deliverance. I responded Surprise Reunion. And then he responded with a second Deliverance.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, God, I had like 6 cards in my card pool. And he still
5
like,
action cards for that.
Oh yeah. I was waiting because I saw the showtime and his million answers, but it still had the answer to it, right? And I think it worked just as well into Spike, right? He just sat on his showtime for the vengeance, so I had to actually kill him with like
real cards.
the other good death cards,
Shotguns.
I'll
I
just
guess
play
I'll shotgun. Yeah.
Oh no! I'll just play these swimming birds.
I think that's part of why specifically I have a big gripe with the Spike one is because Vengeance is one of those cards to where in a deck, if you hit late game capacity, like you have other attacks, you just play your chain, and then you play the Vengeance.
They like cancel.
And like, did I whittle?
Or they like cancel the ability and use everything, and then you're like, oh, I actually had 3 more swimming birds that I could just kill you with. Okay.
Or it's like
you don't have to end your combat phase anymore. It's like,
did you cancel the Spike firsty? Shucks. I guess I'll give it 6 damage and make you have to deal with this. Like it's a lot of like, and plus you already gave it the damage with the noob, so like that was my biggest gripe. I think with the Spike one specifically, but because like I said, it can just play old Spike. It can be let me whittle you down little by little, and then eventually you have to constantly be like, oh, did I hit?
If they have all the answers, it still doesn't matter because the rest of the deck's still a real deck.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not a gimmick.
I mean, I don't know if I said it in the video, but like I was already playing the Spike one.
Yep.
Without it, and I know that Mark saw that before too, because we were talking before Noob even got shown. He was already crazy with Shell of a Proud Man, right?
Yep. I was
so
telling.
He added this Noob thing. Like, I will take that.
Back
Thank
in
you very much.
January, my local player, CJ, I'll give him a quick shout out. He's all like, because he got a sponsorship for Legendary Wolf, and we were gonna be traveling. He's with my play group, and so I was like, what do you want to play competitively? He's like, I think I actually really want to play Spike 1. Like, I really liked what you tried at Spike 1, but I want to make a more aggressive version. I was like, you should play the Death Punished if you don't block my stuff deck. I was like, I think that deck with Shell of a Proud Man has some really good legs. And you're playing Spike, so Spike, you're just gonna feel good to play a 7 hand size character like Spike 1. And he's not, and we built it, and then a month later, Noob was shown as a spoiler, and I'm like, please, now you have to build the deck because like you were already getting all the pieces for it, and you just literally throw this character card into the deck and it works. And like he was super excited, so it will eventually, and maybe he'll be a little upset if it does get errated. But yeah, I agree. Like you just take the character, and here's the thing: when it gets errated, I think the Spike deck will still be played.
The Spike deck is still good. Like it just isn't busted.
Right, I would still play that deck at any
point. Yeah, like you had 4 more busted death cards into your deck. Shucks.
You take out those 3 high block Fusion of Souls and the 4 awkward character blocks, and
Yeah.
you throw back in 4 tech card or 8 tech cards and maybe 2 more attacks, something like that.
Shucks, you gonna run a 4th Dark Side of Karma and some Speed Hate?
Maybe
Aw, shucks.
maybe I just play those off-symbol revokes main board again. Huh? Who knows?
Yeah.
Or if you cut those cards, you probably just play it at 59 plus character.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
For sure.
Still, I mean, your Vengeance are still doing like 11 on average, probably.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, I see. And I'm a sucker. I still like Life Spike a little bit more, but that's just me. So
I mean, life and death are basically the same symbol at this point.
I don't
so-
get Shallow Proud
Listen,
Man.
there's
under
no way
life,
I'm
though.
playing a different life character than Raphael, though.
Listen, the only
I'd play
winner,
Life Raphael over
the
that.
only winner you get is I get to play Splat, and then my vengeances are really free at the end of my chains.
At the end of the chain?
Yes.
Well, you don't even need the ammunition cards.
Yeah, yeah.
especially-
I
you don't
played.
need the-
Did you not see my Omaha PTC deck? I played.
I did.
I threw in specialized ammunition at the the last second, and I don't get me wrong.
I think Mark told you to.
It was really. It was we were play testing the night before. Like it was. I used it during the tournament. I can tell you, I played against 3 Kuwabaras in that tournament, and I beat every single one of them. And I was playing a shotgun deck, so it was very, very rough. But shotgun's also 7 base damage, so it just works. But essentially, it was just like my spike deck became let me play 7 attacks in one turn, and Splat.
I don't know how.
You just
I
draw
don't
them
know
all.
how you did that.
You just draw them.
I don't. Well, no. Not because you got to. No, I mean because like I saw your list and I saw you play it at the PTC, and it was just like every life 5 diff, right?
Yeah.
There's something 5
Hell
diffs in
yeah.
that. I don't know how this man strings as well as
Spirit
like, I
Gun,
saw you.
Moonset, Shotgun, and Vengeances. And sometimes I hard played Swimming
And
Bird.
Swimming Bird.
I
Swimming
hard.
Bird's a 5 diff until late game.
Sometimes I didn't have enough face downs and I hard played them as a 5. Like, dude, you're not wrong. That deck, if it was tweaked a little bit, because I built that 2 days before that tournament. If it was
Right.
tweaked a little bit, I genuinely think I beat Shane in semifinals and I might win the whole thing. But I didn't tweak
Man,
it.
dude, I got sacked in that tournament. Ooh, it was awesome.
Do the Ed and 9 deck, Ben's Ed and 9
yeah,
deck,
dude.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Anyway,
dude.
that's not what this is for. So, but anyway,
Ultimate damage.
but I always have my eyes on Spike 1 and this whole kind of shebang. Now, the question is, I want to do this last little thing to talk about if this happens. Let's say there's a world where it is Noob Saibot only response. What Noob Saibot deck are you playing then? Like, are you playing Noob Saibot?
Me?
Specific in
You
in
guys-
general, and no meta-wise. If you see one, if you were to build one, do you think he will be played at all? If it's Noob Saibot only, because obviously the card's still crazy good. It's just only you can play it in him.
Well, you play him on Void, right? So you can get Fusion of Souls.
Yeah,
and you
you play him off Void. Probably do the Akuma Ground Smash.
I think you just do like value, right? Like it's at that point it's just a really good gateway shuffle
Oh,
for him.
you probably play a Downward Spiral deck. Not gonna lie, you
I like
probably
that.
play a discard.
I like that
When you
comparison.
play the Downward
yeah.
Spiral, gives you 5 damage. They don't have a hand, so you give it more.
And the more character cards you have in your hand, it's easier to dump for Spiral if you want to do that.
You just put them in your card pool, then play it at the end. And
Yeah, I
it's
think
like
the real
28
the re-
damage discard.
The real travesty is his enhance is like really bad.
What is
like,
it? I
It's
don't
like
even know what it
stuck
is.
card pool and commit target not character thing.
Here, I got it. I got it up on my computer. Here we go.
I got that right.
Enhance, add a character card from your staging area to your card pool. Commit and freeze 1 foundation in your opponent's staging area.
It's selective, so it's not awful.
It's pretty
Stuff
bad.
your card pool. I mean, like with this awesome character card, yeah, sure.
This would
But
be
isn't-
cool if he started the game with all his characters attached.
Yeah. I think that it's not exciting, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Commit freeze, it's something that's like utility oriented. I want that on my on my attack cards and foundations and stuff like that. But I want my character to do something like nuts.
Or
right?
it's
Yeah.
weird because like
like respond
I-
plus X or minus X damage.
I see that enhance as just worse Ed and 9 enhance because Ed and 9 enhance is also just selective committal. So if you wanted to,
And you add to hand and not your card pool.
they added the hand and they're discarding a card and you get a benefit depending on what they discarded. So it's like,
Yeah.
So I get it, and they share 2 symbols together. So like whatever. Now, is there a world? You said Void, and this was the first thing in my head when I got to Void, because I'm thinking of high base damage attacks under Void, and I know we're thinking about Wrath of Raging Demon and stuff like that. But hear me out. Discard Queen of Hearts Noob Saibot, because it has 7 base damage.
7 base damage.
It's
That's hot.
It's 2
If they're
speed.
playing downward spiral, you hit it off the Queen of Hearts. Hit their downward spiral, make them discard the other card.
And you gain the enhances off of it too. I think it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's just super expensive. It gets a 7
Yeah,
diff
that's a
attack,
diff now.
and you have all the noobs before it. Someone built the
playing
spice.
this on a 12.
It's a spice.
Yeah, so you get 4 less damage by just playing downward spiral. However, you don't get the experience. Like somebody sees that you doing that to a downward spiral, they're gonna complain about downward spiral, right? Somebody sees you doing that to a Queen of Hearts, they're gonna complain about the noob.
Dude,
right? They're gonna
oh yeah.
This guy just Queen of Hearts to me for 14. This is bullshit.
So I think he's best with reversals, actually. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, probably the only way you could play him by himself would be reversal deck.
Man, if only SRK was stronger. Shucks.
Oh, you do get the Amy reversal. That's like 3 low 5.
Yeah, you probably play him under life with like friends and rivals.
Reversal, friends and rivals, buffing up damage. What's a good life reversal?
So I have no idea.
You get Solier. You get Solier.
Oh
I mean,
yeah, Soleil. Yeah. That's a 5 base.
The Graceful
Yeah.
Rouge, I think it's called. That one has all 3 symbols with him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're right. Because it's 2.
His attack is his attack a reversal? I don't remember. I know it's just Princess Perry.
Oh, yeah,
with the,
it's the Princess Perry. So yeah, you pitch a character, play it, friends and rivals them.
Let's play
Not
that.
not bad.
Hey, under Void, we're getting.
Oh, laser Trident.
Remember,
That's your kill card right there.
remember Void, we're getting Cheshire Black Vortex, which is a reversal and 6 base damage.
Yeah, but it has just really bad EX2 on it, right?
Yes.
It's like discard momentum -2 the next check.
Yes.
Why didn't you give it a good enhance in EX2?
But you can play it any number of times, which makes it EX2.
Okay. Okay, we actually play Congo, guys. This is the deck. Void, Congo, because you flip all the characters over as face down, so you powerful.
Face downs.
Oh.
There we go. There we go. We're onto something there.
All right, cool. Okay, well, I think that sums it up pretty well, guys. I think the memes are gonna be really great if the errata does happen. Christopher, thanks so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Do you want to shout yourself out? You got a Twitch channel you want to shout out to people or content on YouTube?
I have a Twitch channel. It's named after my favorite musical scale, which is flat 2 Lydian. I'm a nerd, sorry. And then the YouTube channel is called Unfun Stuff, which was named 3 days before Universus was announced.
Wow.
Really timely. Yeah. I should probably just make a new YouTube channel, but
You can
I've been
change-
really lazy.
If you didn't know this, you
Go ahead.
can change the Gmail that's associated with it, and it actually could change. It changes your name for you.
Ooh,
I
might
did
have to
that
do
with
that.
my
Although,
old Vice Shorts channel. Just saying.
I do like the fun of having that because everybody
think-
still knows it as UFS for right now.
Yeah. I think it's very fun.
But
Good stuff.
I've been trying to get Shane on for about 3 weeks, and every time I message him, he's like, "Yeah, dude, sounds good." I'm like, "What time works for you?" And he's like, "Yeah, dude."
We tried to get Shane on here for our post Worlds thing because we had Scott and we had Mark, and so we tried to get their whole team together for them. And he's like, "Yeah, I'll be right on." And he got busy, and then it didn't happen. So it
Yeah,
happens.
it's been funny.
It happens a lot, so don't worry about it. But thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Go check out his stuff. It's really great. I always feel bad every time I see your face, though, because of the Nats that I won. But you're still a good
Hell
fan.
no, dude, that was awesome.
Every time. It's just always in the back of my head. But thanks so much. Check out the rest of the video. Follow us. Subscribe to us. You can see us on Facebook as well. If you'd like to support the channel, you can check out our Patreon as well. But thanks so much, and we'll see you guys in the next one.